Let's see. All right, guys. Welcome to the first Human AIX live stream. And I thought, let's kick it off with the one and only Alessandro Vene, who is the co-chair of Human AIX. And, the purpose of these live streams is to, give you guys some insights on, what is happening in Human AIX, but also the big picture, what's happening in the decentralized AI space and how blockchain, how Web3 is intersecting with AI, and also most importantly, you know, why we are bringing humanity in the mix, in the loop, and why should you care? So this is a great opportunity for us to not only just bring in the co-chairs, but eventually we will also bring some other top voices, intellectual voices, and also builders who are making impact in the realm of crypto, blockchain, Web3, and of course AI. I know it's a lot of terms that you're throwing out there, but stay with us. We're gonna really showcase what's really happening. So that being said, I'm totally excited, super stoked to have Alessandro in the building, and you know definitely want to dive in. I want folks to know your origin story in the wild space of crypto, DePIN, and now decentralized AI. I mean, what is going on? And of course, the grand vision and the mission of Human AIX. Alessandro, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Cheers, thank you, Marcos. What a presentation! Actually, thanks for having me today. Well, I've been in space for a number of years now, and I always start with this story as to why I actually joined the bandwagon of crypto. Like everyone was kind of like hey, what's going on with what is Bitcoin and what's happening there. I was actually exposed to Bitcoin in 2012, 2013, but
Wow.
essentially when I really put my feet on the ground, they call it skin in the game, but skin in the game, I think it's like a bit overused. When I put my feet on the DLT grounds, as I call it was actually with a clear purpose. I actually wrote a white paper for organic foods on blockchain, and funnily enough, the other day we
Interesting.
were
All
talking
right.
to one of our founding members. I'll dive into that a little bit later. And I told him, "Do you know that my first white paper in 2017 was actually based on Holochain?" And it was like, I am absolutely stoked and jaw dropped that you're telling me
Oh,
that,
wow.
because it was
Yeah, yeah.
really nascent back in those days. Um, so yes, actually, and funnily enough, in 2017, together with the other co-founders, we're thinking as to how to bring and make use of DLT technologies for good. In that sense, was like um, essentially tracking the food supply chain, making use, of course, of data sovereignty. In this case, was actually food data, which is essential to for food safety, and not just using blockchain, but actually using AI data and IoT on field sensors actually to capture real time data, which is essential to stick to some organic protocol. Cut the long story short, that is actually how I really started building in the space. The idea of blockchain was for me beyond crypto, was actually making use of DLT technology, because I fully embrace that vision of having data as a sovereign entity that we are building on top, that we are bringing power back to people. And to me, it's one of the
Sure.
best and
Yeah.
most interesting form of democratization of internet. Actually, it's bringing back internet to what it was like. Internet, the first iteration 1.0, and we are
That
going
is
back to
true.
those assumptions,
That
and it's very, very important that we stick to those assumptions.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm no. I I thought that was really interesting. How you've been working on your paper and it's connecting with Holochain. I mean, because I think those who have been in the space would definitely know about Holochain, the work they've been doing. It is quite, you know, uh, I guess, advanced in this times, so, and I just love the fact that you brought up like how now we're coming full circle, to what the web is all about, and how it's meant to, I guess, emancipate and democratize, you know, the whole infrastructure, and really revolutionize the way we use knowledge. The internet, of course, like that, obviously the web, but how we define money, data. I mean, like it is quite fascinating. So yeah, I think that is really cool. And thank you for sharing that origin story. Um,
It is interesting, actually, what you're saying. I'm just chiming into what you were adding, as we are full of jargon and buzzwords in Web3,
don't
which
you
is
just love it
okay.
though? I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but ultimately, being on both sides of the fence, I've been building, I've been raising capital, I've been working with venture capitalists. Ultimately, I think what resonates is we're building for real world applications and solutions, and this is where you're going to see, like, the next, let's say, fang on Web3, call it unicorns, but doesn't really matter. It is
yeah.
actually providing people with solid and real solutions. I have a lot to say about that, because, like, there are a lot of setbacks and bottlenecks in by using our technology, but ultimately we need to still stick to that idea of building for what's relevant and for what makes use. Now, you said, like, we can touch on many verticals, like from, like, industry to financial, but ultimately, again, it boils down to making that technology simple to use, abstract, but relevant for people
Absolutely.
that are using that.
Now, no, no, totally. No, I'm glad you brought that up, and because one side I love the intellectual curiosity, and like testing things out. I know some of my developer friends, create things, break things, all that's is great. I think there's a lot of passion. There's so much of curiosity, but also the same too. Like majority of the folks who we are talking to, I'm just coming from the marketing and the BD side of things. So how do you like I guess the next challenge is a lot of people they're seeing all the stuff about AI on socials, on media and stuff, and papers, and you know your uh, your favorite Hollywood actors and actresses and stuff. They're getting in the game. I don't know. So, but I guess I
Yeah,
guess the question is for a lot of people is why should we care, and how does that affect me? And there are some folks who are also kind of like scared about AI too. Oh my God, we're going to lose the jobs. There's going to be, layoffs and shifts and, societal changes and, national security stuff. I mean, like, you name it. I mean, the media does a really good job throwing out so much of these negative scenarios. Some might be true, some I feel might be exaggerated, but, I know that's a whole nother story. Um, but it is interesting to see um, the impact of AI, and I think there needs to be more voices from the Web3, how we could resolve some of that stuff, how we could like bring positivity and true meaning, but also true purpose as well, not just show and tell and just to show off, but actually solve the problems in the marketplace and also society as well. So
absolutely. I think there's a lot of marketing, actually, related to what we are reading. So effectively, you would have to read what academia is researching to have, like, a better grasp of what there is in terms of AI in the market. So there's a lot of fascinating and interesting stuff. To be completely honest with you, I mean, I know there's a doom side, and it's important that we have and we raise concerns about that. But when we look at this stage of AGI, I would say that we are still, like, quite far from that, from many
mhm.
angles. It's not just technology; it is also in
Yeah,
terms of regulations and adoption. So you need to look at these concerns from different angles. It's not just one. It's not just that we're going to have, Starknet coming back from the future and attacking humans. I don't think we are
Oh, you
nearly.
don't think so, man? Like Hollywood convinced me, Alessandro. I mean, like I'm expecting
Well,
like
if you read
Terminator.
George Orwell, I mean, was like already foreseeing some kind of a future, right?
Oh, man. Hey, for folks who don't know, George Orwell, he wrote this really amazing book. What, 1984? Is that correct? Right? And is he the one who wrote Animal Farm, or was it that was somebody
Animal
else?
Farm. Animal Farm, yes.
Yeah. Uh, I think like if you are really interested about like history, the future society, but also how technology can be involved. I mean, it's not really a techie book, but I think it'll really get your mind thinking, and you'll be you see the world in a whole different light. So I think I recommend folks to uh, like take some interest in it. I think you'll find some really great value and insight. So, anyways, Alessandro, please go ahead.
Well, I suggest people to really get involved into AI at different capacity. AI is not just like a large language model or a technology itself. It's actually they use the ethics, the philosophical side. So there are many areas where anyone can get involved into AI, in my opinion. So it's never too late. Is it going to replace our jobs in the future? Well, I think at the moment we can say it's going to facilitate our job 100%. We can speed up our production 10x, 20x. It is just mesmerizing what we are able to do. Now, of course, there are ethical, let's say, questions surrounding how we have been able to achieve these kind of results. And this is actually probably the purpose of decentralized AI. I've been, as I was telling you, Marcos, I was in the space building for the past 8 years, and I've scaled and built one of the fastest growing DePIN projects out there. And in that position, I was able also to speak, connect, and share thoughts with other great DePIN projects leader, different verticals. I'm talking about like what
Nice.
is probably more relevant for AI, which is like compute, data, and agentic layers. So I'm in that kind of domain, I would say, because the pin is much more broad as a, let's say, as a Web3 vertical. You have like, weather
Right.
station,
Yeah. And
and
so sorry to
beyond.
cut you, Alessandro. With
Yeah.
regards to DePIN, folks out there, like in Web3, we call it DePIN, but I guess in the outside of Web3, people would know it as the edge network. So I think that's more like is that like the tradition? Am I correct to say that? Like, especially for those who are operating in the
Um,
tech space, would
well,
that be
I like to think of the PIN as sharing economy, as a sharing economy, but just leveraging on like existing infrastructure and on blockchain. So just to make it very very simple, imagine Airbnb. You have like an existing real life infrastructure.
right?
The PIN is working in a similar fashion, I would say, like on a grand scheme, of course, where you basically leverage on compute power, distributed compute power that you put together in your protocol, stamped and registered on the blockchain that you build your DePIN,
Mm,
and you basically offer those, in the case, compute power to other people, builders, businesses that they need to scale. That is, in essence, how DePIN looks like. Now, again, there are different verticals, but essentially it means making use of existing computational data layers, infrastructure, digital infrastructure on blockchain. Um, to add on that, as I was saying, when I was building specifically in the space, and speaking with other founders, we've noticed that every DPN is kind of siloed. It's like an echo chamber. I mean, great projects, great traction, but essentially they are really narrow into their very own community, and sometimes even narrow down to the blockchain specifics. So that is quite a problem, number one, especially if you are wishing or willing to provide resources to the future of AI. When I say the
Mm,
future of
right.
AI is to scale AI on DePIN, on a DePIN, let's say, infrastructure. And that is quite important to understand, because if DePIN is really making democratic, let's say, the access and the use of a certain type of infrastructure, which is distributed and owned by people, essentially, or let's say
Yeah.
distributed data centers, for instance, it is as important to understand that to achieve AI that is not centralized, but let's say interfered and inferenced and built at the edge of the network, it's paramount
Yeah.
that these projects are not siloed. Nowadays, I can tell you with, like, quite a degree of certainty that we are not able, we are not in the position yet. As actually, that is why Human AI is coming to play. And I will
Yeah.
give you a bit of a context as to why that is relevant now. But before Human AIX and other, let's say, joint projects that are happening as we talk,
Yeah.
uh, it is nearly impossible for a deepin project to provide effective computational and resources and data without opening up and collaborating with other projects and making blockchain fully abstract and agnostic. So we need to really overcome certain infrastructure boundaries. Once that is achievable,
Fascinating.
I'm
Yeah.
profoundly um, convinced that we're going to finally see proper light AI models being run at the edge of the network.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. No, I'm glad. No, I'm glad that you brought that. You brought the deep and natural. Actually, I was not expecting to have this conversation, but it's interesting you brought that up because earlier, some of our previous partners, other founding members, and uh, other contributors in the whole decentralized AI space, many of them have did talk about DeepIn, and I think there is, um, I think, incredible opportunity for Web3 to make an impact, and especially challenging the big tech, status quo. So I think this is um, pretty paramount. But Alessandro, I want to take a few steps back, and I got a question from some good friends of ours. I think this is more of a, let me see. Actually, the question is, I don't know, I'm not able to find it. But actually, in very simple terms, what does decentralized AI mean to you on a personal level?
What it means to me, it means basically having a clear understanding that AI is not centralized. And what that means, it means that data is not in a central server, and it's not owned by a central entity or a private entity in that very case. It's There's a consensus surrounding the use of data at the edge, rather than not having any type of consensus of what kind of data is being used to train a specific model in a centralized party. So what it means decentralized AI, it means freeing AI from the private gates that we have
Hmm.
witnessed over the course of the past, I would say, 2 decades, starting from Web 2 till today. So we have seen the growth and the rise of Web 2 behemoths. As you know, I said FANG. I have nothing against them particularly. I'm kind of like opposed to the way they are making use of what they have built without any type of consensus, or leveraging some marketing kind of,
Okay. Yeah.
baits to all of us, and some of us they always knew that this was coming somehow because we were giving data just to play with
Oh,
some
yeah.
social media, and that is in reality what it was. And now we are seeing this coming into life, and we are seeing. I'm not quoting, but I was reading it Fred's yesterday that Mark Zuckerberg is basically planning a huge Hyperion data center in Manhattan, which does make much sense in my opinion, of course. But that actually,
Wait, in
again,
Manhattan, like you're talking about like New York, Manhattan, like one of the
oh
most
yes,
expensive real estate on the planet, Manhattan. Oh,
yes,
that's like,
yes, you should see the picture. I was like kind of baffled to see that, but there are plans actually to build like huge 5 gigawatts data center, and this is kind of like I understand that it's a need from their end,
yeah,
but if you see any economic research, we are looking at just a bunch of behemoths are really going to build AI, centralized AI again, based on those
that's right.
data points that I mentioned. So it is actually something that we need to bring back to those who were in the first iteration of the internet with those assumptions, as I said, and bring it back to people. Actually, you need to get your data in your own wallet, not your crypto, your data in
Hmm,
your wallet. So that is very important. You own the data. You want to train, you want to allow the data to train a decentralized model, or let's say a model that is running at the edge of the network, not at the core. And in that moment, you're actually untapping not just an ideal, but actually something that belongs to all of us. It just doesn't belong to just a bunch of people. And I think I'm not saying that it's about people that they need to open their eyes, because it is even right that people are using the tools that they are um, more comfortable to use. It's totally
yeah,
fine. I'm just opening up a playing competition here with the centralized AI and to what decentralized AI is standing.
yeah. No, no, this is great. No, no, thank you for like sharing, your personal, I guess meaning in terms of, what decentralization is all about, and how it's shaping the future, of AI development and implementation. Most importantly, the implementation, the execution. So, and what you're seeing right now, I think Meta is a classic case. I mean, they're executing in such a big way, and I guess in some instances, okay, it's great, but from a big picture point of view, I think this is going to pose a challenge. I think this is where, like, I believe Human AIX comes into the picture, and the mission is to why we bring why the name Human AIX. It could have been AIX or AI Human X, but why human? And there's a reason for that, right? So I think I would love for you as a co-chair of Human AIX Foundation, kind of share the mission and I guess the goals of what this decentralized AI alliance is really all about. And later on, let's also cover the challenges as well. But let's start with I mean, your take on the mission, the vision, and the goals of Human AIX.
Human, first of all, because we are bringing this back to people and humanity. How? First of all, it's ungated. What we're building is an open framework for decentralized AI. So for decentralized AI to happen on an open infrastructure. Why open? It's imagine I was talking to my co-chair, and imagine Linux Foundation. This is completely open, community driven, so people are able to build, make use, fork, add, and we profoundly believe that this has to be ungated and not profitable for an entity in particular. So
Yeah,
that is the first take, and that is what we are building. It is very, very important. Um, the second one is we cannot do this alone. As my first assumption, and from my experience, as I told you at the beginning, DePIN projects are seldom siloed. So, kind of in echo chambers, they're great technologies,
Yeah.
but they are really, really hard to integrate. Unfortunately, we see a lot of Web3 partnerships, but in essence, there's no technical integration, or quite rare, put it this way,
Yeah.
to be kind of soft. So we
Yeah,
really
you can be
reached
honest. I
out.
think that's
It is an
I
honesty.
think look,
It is.
because see, look, I'm glad you brought it up. I think that we have to be, because a lot of people are curious about decent AI, and a lot of people do value like knowing the truth, and now they kind of grasp and understand what are the problems and challenges with centralized AI, but they want to know, like, hey, how decent AI is going to overcome some of these challenges. And also at the same time too, I think this is a clarion call for people and projects and other foundations. Hey, look, I think this is a great social good. I think this is like a win 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 situation for people getting involved in this. So um,
Look, Marcos, I give you an example, and it's quite easy to understand. If you want to build an AI model, you need a lot of computing power. You need a lot of GPUs, right? Where do you buy the
100%
GPUs?
agree.
Where do you get the GPUs? Where do you get it from? I'm not in the position to get, like, a lot of computing power, uh, at least to compete, let's say, to build something in competition with the
Yeah,
behemoths or the AI giants. Hence, I need to rely on a different source. And this, at the
yeah,
moment, minus the pin, minus decentralized AI, there's no solution to that.
yeah,
I need to go to, DigitalOcean, AWS, and get those, enough resources and power to train my model.
yeah,
Now, that is nearly impossible for any builder in the world unless you have connections and build,
yeah,
at seeds like a billion worth of fundraise, like Mistral AI, which was
yeah,
like
yeah, like open. Yeah, sure, agreed. Yeah,
quite a big case. So that is the point of decentralized AI. We are making use of decentralized and available already on the market resources, putting them together so that, like, any builders, even in disadvantaged regions, are able to build something that is impactful, meaningful, and that makes sense. Actually, I was speaking to a project that I used to work with, that is doing medical, research, especially in Africa, to fight, like, major disease. They will never be able to scale on the current, stack. They need like an alternative
okay,
solution. Of these projects, there are so many and valuable ideas. So having a stack that is open, ungated, free to use, just you have the answer. So that is the mission. Now I can delve into the technicality of the stack, let's say the framework, which is
yeah,
basically consists of three different layers. We have an AI data validation layer, we have a computing layer, and we have a storage
yeah,
layer. Because of course you need a place where to store data. You need
right,
an orchestration layer where to actually move, computational resources and
sure.
potentially even nodes. So that is in a simple way how and the way we're building. Of course, now we are in conversation with some layer ones. I'm breaking to you this kind of news. Hopefully,
Oh yeah,
even few layer ones are going to help us out in building this
yeah.
towards this vision. And
I'm
yeah,
excited about that. I'm really excited about that because no, I'm glad, like, with Mike Robinson, definitely, guys, we'll have the other co-chair of Human AIX for the next live stream series, and definitely for sure, I'm glad that Alessandro's also reaching out to other foundations as well, um, who who do see the need for decentralized AI and how we in the Web3 space can make a positive impact. So really super stoked about it, and definitely I'm looking forward to once we get things confirmed. I know it's a long process, but I think it's worth the fight. It's worth the effort, and also I want them also to come on this live stream as well, and share their insights as well, so that I want people to see the bigger picture. There's a lot of moving parts, but that's the beauty of Web3, and I think once people see the human side of things, oh man, Alessandro, I think this is going to be powerful. So yeah, just want to share that because I'm on the human side. But Alessandro, please go ahead.
It is exactly like you said. Our mission is not just like building a stack. We want to have people realizing that it's we are not taking anything away from them. It's actually out of their own will to train, add, contribution, and they're gonna be rewarded for that, and not rewarded with the token or like anything that is in different ways. They're going to be rewarded by something that it is impactful again, and it will actually from there going to sprout more innovation, hopefully. We are not just working on the tech side though. That is something that I want to add into our conversation. We are talking to academia. We have created what we call it the academia chapter, and we are just beyond being in conversations with academia, so with universities. We have connections at Columbia, in Dubai. Even lately, I've been talking to associate professors in Tokyo and the University of Alberta, which is very exciting because
Yeah,
everyone from academia level, if they really understand like that what we are doing
that's
while
true.
we're
Yeah,
doing that, and that is absolutely amazing. So if we get that chapter fully open, we're talking about education. We are talking about rolling out, hopefully in collaboration with some universities, decentralized AI masterclasses. And this is very,
totally.
very
Yeah.
exciting because it's beyond like our very own project. This is going out there and having people, students, researchers, potential future actually researchers, not just like being uh, wanting to have the stamp on their CV, on their resume of the
Yeah.
big FANG, but actually having a proper training to decentralize AI. Breaking the news for you, which because we have discussed internally, but
Yeah.
for our audience, we have just closed a very important abstract for the International Blockchain Conference happening in Malta, together with the University of Barcelona, and under the EU. So we have been invited to present this research paper in September. So we already
All right.
have
Okay.
that chapter established. So I'm glad to see that the efforts that we made, not just in reaching out, but actually to build, they've been recognized also by institutions, education institutions that are very aware of how the future is going to entail.
No, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. And I would also add that for example, I know with Dr. Maxley, with his presence in Columbia University, and also speak about decentralized AI masterclass. Uh, Dr. Max and also Tamangna Basu, who's from Data Secure. It's a startup that's what do you say, incubated in Five. So in Five is a Dubai government incubator program. So so they gave a class on decentralized AI, and that's an MBZU, which is Mohammed bin Zayed University for for artificial intelligence, and it's actually the world's first AI university, and it's backed by the Abu Dhabi government, along with the UAE. So this is a pretty a big step. So and we're still early. It's like being in a finance class, like say 15 years ago. The professor's talking about stocks. Someone else is talking about cash flow, life insurance. Others are talking about, I don't know, timeshares or something like that. And you're this random guy talking about Bitcoin and what is Bitcoin, and imagine that like 15 years ago, right? I mean, you were like 2012, 2013, like what was that? So that's how it felt. So I feel that like when it comes to decentralized AI, how can Web3, how can DLT, blockchain, you know, really play a significant role in the AI space, democratize AI. Like, I mean, it's a new frontier, I feel. So that's how I see it, like happening right now. It's kind of like
Um,
I feel like I'm in history right now, like living history currently. So
I'll tell you something, Marcos. This is coming from my experience when I was like at the European Commission way too many years ago, actually. 20 years ago as a researcher in like pioneering projects as we call it, was like web semantic and knowledge management systems. And then I moved to like web 2, 4 to 500, build scaled, scale ups, and then moved into web 3. I'm not saying for the first time, because that is not entirely true, but I would say it's one of those historic time where you see the convergence of independent academia pushing for something that in Web3 we call it narrative, but the outer world is seen as a concern. And when these two needs are coming together, it's not just an opportunity. There's a necessity to be at the forefront of this, technology breakthrough. We need to actually be aware that this is not a DeFi protocol or something that we are just trying
hmm,
to,
right.
disrupt the TradFi. We are actually building something that, in the down the line, in the long term, um, it is essential. It is essential for democratic, ethical, societal purposes. Now, are we going to be really able to do that? That is the challenge. It is a very um, difficult challenge to be like uh,
Yeah.
it's not the statement. It is a very hard challenge, of course, but we know where this is going, and so it is important that we put minds, brains, hands on together, and to build that and to effectively uh, allow people and businesses to have an alternative to what it might be look like if it was fully decentralized, if it was fully centralized.
Hmm. No, no, it makes sense. Yeah, I think and just to go back to when you mentioned about it is a difficult, challenging undertaking, but I think anything that is difficult, anything that is challenging, I think it's definitely worth the effort. And we already seen some interesting wins. I mean, we're seeing things happening in the storage side of things, and data labeling, how we are rewarding people for their contribution to AI development. We are seeing some interesting stuff in the DePIN space. I think personally for me, now I'm starting to see some interesting um, opportunities in DePIN, because I think this is where, like, because it is a physical network, so I think this is where like people can see like, hey, something tangible is taking place, like, yeah, sure, even also high quality data too, which I think there is a huge scope, right? But I think for some of my friends who are not in the tech space, who still kind of catch up with when I talk about Bitcoin, but I think when they see some of the physical stuff, like, oh, okay, like deepen. I mean, this thing, like, there's also deepen too. I mean, like, I mean, whether people agree or not, but this is true. It's just that different terminology. But when they see something physical, it kind of brings this imagination and realization, like, okay, you know what? That there are serious stuff taking place. So um,
Well, definitely, if you have something tangible to show, people would grasp it, because you can't expect like everyone to, fully comprehends the intricacy of what we're building. It is actually
Yeah.
what I see that as, like, it will, from Human AIX, from hopefully even other, projects similarly to what we are building. I remind you that we are an NGO Swiss-based foundation, so it's a full non-profit foundation. But I imagine that the future is going to look like more towards openness and ungated, technical stack that will allow applications to be built on top of that. It's up to builders in the future to provide sensical, sound, uh, you know, solutions and application based on a decentralized infrastructure, decentralized AI, and decentralized technical infrastructure. So we are providing, let's say, kind of like if it was academia, I'm providing you the book, but
Yeah.
you put your mind on top of the book to build something that is,
Yeah. Oh,
uh,
well said. Yeah. No, well said. Oh no, that's great. That's great. Man, I think yeah, I think there's a lot. Um, I definitely like, first of all, I definitely want more people to be, um, you know, interested and also watch out what's happening in a decentralized AI space. And, and I guess I do believe, education is needed. We definitely, I think we need more interesting materials, but also this continuous, consistent conversations on decentralized AI, and especially how Web3 can really make an impact in the AI space, and why we care about bringing humanity in the forefront. Than what you see in the mainstream space where they all talk about AI this, AI that, but I think humanity has a role to play, and because personally for me, I love my brothers and sisters out there that they can make a difference. You don't have to be in academia. Everyone can play a role in some form or the other, and make an impact. So it doesn't have to be sort of like a zero sum game, or this sort of like a for lack of a better word, of like kind of like a pyramid scheme or something, So I think this is an endeavor worth fighting for. So um, you know,
a hundred,
want to put that out there.
100%. I couldn't agree more. People need to be just conscious about what they're using nowadays. Think of, like, I feel like sometimes, like, the AI giants are just, like, giving people kind of a lolly, and they treat them like 5 years old. 5 years old, they just, like, sugar addicted and dopamine addicted, without having to ask any questions, as long as they are, like,
um,
fulfill they kind of need. This
yeah.
is kind of like sort of what's happening with AI. It's very simple. I have to say, like, the whole idea is very, like, the products, sorry, that being put out there are very quite simple. Although behind there's a lot of you know. Difficult undertaking in terms of what's being developed. But again, it feels like people are absolutely unaware, again, as to what they are doing with AI. To many people, they don't realize even that whenever they use, ChatGPT, they they are basically training, again, for free, a ChatGPT or any
Working
other.
for free? How dare they, man?
Yep. It's basically, again, the Web 2 evilness cycle is brought back
Oh
to life
man,
in different ways. It's
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. But see, that's interesting, right? Like, because I use example of say Google Maps, right? Because like behind the scene, like yeah, sure, you're making like a review, taking pictures, but really behind the scenes, like you are actually collecting the data for the for the big tech for Google, and you're also in some sense also labeling some of that data too, which is also quite interesting. Like and you're doing it for free. Okay, maybe, yeah, sure. Once in a while, I know Google sends me an email. Hey, congratulations, you're level 7, and they throw additional confetti, to make it all nice and giggles and stuff. So
Level
Am I getting
7
really
of being
paid
a
for
free
it?
worker, and if you get to 10, you are a free worker for life. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So I think see this is something I think we should have a separate, maybe like a conversation on that topic. And I think this is something like um, that does require, you know, kind of like a master class or some, some sort of like a explainer, like, hey, how you're being taken advantage of and how we in the Web3 space want to reward you. So I know there's so many topics we could cover when it comes to decentralized AI, but before you head out, uh, um, are there you have covered, you know, what is decentralized AI? What does it mean to you? You also kind of give a big picture of Human AIX. But what are some of the topics that you want to talk about in the next coming series? Like what excites you? So because like AI is such a there's so many levels far and wide, but I know you're targeting some of the biggest challenges in the world of AI or decentralized AI. So
I think you actually nailed it in the previous topic. That's something that we need to address and make probably more like shed a light onto how even currently people using like free tools, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but what are they doing? What's happening in the background, and why that wouldn't happen if you were to use a decentralized AI system? So probably talking about awareness of current versus potentially decentralized solutions. That's number one. And number
yeah.
two, most likely, I would say um, I would like to explain a little bit more what is Human AIX building in terms of structure, infrastructure, and why that it is going to be feared by by those giants somehow. We are not aiming at disrupting. We are aiming at adding alternatives.
Right. No, no, yeah, not totally. Yeah, I think yeah, about I mean, I'd love to have that conversation, but I know like you got a whole road, a whole schedule ahead of you. Is there any words of wisdom that you want to share to people who are new to the idea of decentralized AI? And
Yes, I have one. I have very much one, especially to my fellow Web3 um, builders. Don't be a degen. Look long term. This is where the decentralized AI is going.
awesome, that outstanding. Hey, Alessandro, thank you so much for your time. Glad that we got to because I want to have this sort of like this a casual fireside chat, and definitely want to have this consistent because I think because I need more people to know about not just simply about Human AIX. Definitely, what we're doing, the people we are reaching out to, how we are collaborating and stuff. But most importantly, decentralized AI. How is this really going to be a game changer? It's not just another narrative that just goes through different cycles, but it's going to play uh, a really big role in how we use the internet, information, data, and of course money too. It's definitely it's a kind of like concentric circles that's really um, plays a powerful movement, I would say. So yeah, thank you so much. And guys, definitely we're going to bring some amazing speakers, amazing builders who are making an impact in decentralized AI. And hopefully, I'm hoping to bring Mike Robinson, who's the other co-chair of Human AIX Foundation, but he's currently with our buddy, our technical lead, Jimmy. They're in San Francisco, and they are with our friends from Definity Foundation. So they're the ones who build who have built ICP, the Internet Computer Protocol. So they'll work on some really cool stuff called Caffeine AI. I believe it's a self-writing protocol. I mean, instead of me butchering, Alessandro, I'd love for you to kind of give an insight about our friends from Definity Foundation and what they're working with. So
Yeah, I'm very close actually with the ICP and ICP community, and Definity been like working with them for a year now, and I know they are on the right side of the narrative. Put it this way. They basically launching Caffeine, which is Dominic Williams, the CEO and founder of ICP. Actually gave a hint at the World Computer Summit in Zurich back in June, and now finally they are going live. It's imagine like I'm butchering it as well, but imagine like Cursor, but let's say decentralized. So it's a
nice.
self-writing internet. So let's say a, a, an app that is allowing you to basically build codes, vibe codes. So yeah, unfortunately, I
Wow.
wasn't able to go to San Fran
Yeah.
this weekend, but I had a chat with Mike right before our fireside chat.
Nice. Okay.
Was
All
about
right.
to go to sleep, so I didn't want to, disturb him too long. But definitely,
Yeah.
there's some great updates from the side.
No, sure. They definitely want to bring him. I definitely want to have that conversation now because I need folks to know about this stuff. I mean, like, there's so many things are happening, but Alessandro, I have so little time. I'm just like, but hopefully but guys, like this live stream, sponsored by Human AIX. Our goal is to bring decent AI right at your doorstep, so you guys know who are the real players, who are the real builders, and who are uh, the the evangelists who are taking big steps. And it's not just technical people; these are also like regular people who are doing great things. So, and they're all over the world, guys, all over the world. Um, so take this as a testament that hey, you know what, you guys can play a big role. So this doesn't have to be kind of like a one man show or two man show or like a small group. Anyone can take part in this. So definitely, the more the merrier, and you know this is going to be a fun journey for all of us. So, anyways, guys, our time is up. We gotta go. We got some big things, big problems to solve, and trying to make the world a better place through decentralized AI. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Marcus, and thanks everyone for joining today.
All right, and we are.